Hello and welcome to a video presentation from Aikido Bristol County Dojo here in East Freetown, Massachusetts. I am Joshua Hatcher, General Manager of the dojo, and with me is Sensei Shihan John Arujo, 6th Dan in Tenshin Aikido Dojo Cho, and President of the Bushido Tenshin Federation. Sensei, how are you doing?
Excellent.
Are you ready for another video presentation?
Always ready.
Fantastic. Also with us tonight are Senpai Guido, who is 3rd Dan in Tenshin Aikido here at the dojo, one of our technical engineers and an assistant instructor. And also on my right is Senpai Mike, who is 3rd Q currently, one of our super up-and-coming students, and they've also joined us for the video presentation as well. So Sensei, we wanted to chat with you first. We did a video back in 2014 for the New Bedford Cable Access Channel. It was very successful, but that was quite a while ago. It was before the dojo move. I believe there was a wedding sometime between then and now, and way before the 2020 coronavirus upset. Since that time, would you update us a little on some of the changes the dojo has gone through, our new location, some new added programs, anything that comes to mind?
Yep, there was a wedding. You guys know.
We were there.
You were there.
We were there.
September 3rd, 2016.
It was a beautiful.
It was a great time. Lovely lady, 2 children. So that was a big thing in my life. So yes, thank you. Yes, there was a move from the original New Bedford school over at the Howland Place. So we're a little pressed for time, as you know, and we had to get out of there. So we found this place, or you found this place, and we looked at it, and we had to downsize, obviously. But that worked in our favor, I guess, and it's worked out since. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, storefront property, a nice little plaza, a nice little town, and it was a little different than Howland. Howland Place was a mill. It was kind of in a
It was big, yeah.
Tough area.
It was a tough area. There was no advertisement per se. Here there's a lot of moving traffic. There's restaurants here in the plaza. Across the street there's a Dunkin' Donuts, so that there's a lot of visual there. Traffic, 2 gas stations. We also added a children's class, which as you know, we didn't have it before.
Right.
So we had young adults, teenagers, but we mixed them in with the adults, and sometimes it was hard to run classes like that. But we did add a children's class here at the Freetown location. So it's been good. It's been a road, some obstacles, but it's good. Yeah,
absolutely,
it's good. Thanks to you guys. Oh, and another thing, congratulations to Josh and Guido on their recent 3rd Dans.
Didn't think we'd get that far.
Mike Cregan, also one of my students, tested for 3rd Q. Congratulations with that. Thank you guys for supporting ABC. It's a pleasure. It's great to have you guys.
Absolutely. All right, so excellent. Well, Sensei, this 2020 year has been terrible, as we all know, with coronavirus upset. So many dojos, especially Aikido dojos, have closed permanently or have suspended classes until maybe 2021, or are offering internet Zoom classes. In many ways, we are maybe the only operating dojo left in the area. Can you explain some of the measures we took during this period to protect students and continue to offer classes when so many other schools kind of stopped?
Are you shitting me? That's a question.
It's the second page.
All right,
Hey,
coronavirus. You don't want to get me started on coronavirus. Yeah, it's been tough. But as you guys know, we are, the best to my ability or our ability as a dojo, going through the state's guidelines. As far as checking temperatures, we do that. Masks, 6 feet apart with the children, using hand sanitizers. There's only so much we can do as far as those guidelines and what we have to do to regulate it.
Summertime, we were outdoors.
Summertime was great because we've had a great weather. We the snow as like today, but we've had great weather, and we've done a lot of activities outdoors. So we're at distance at least 12 feet. So
Yep.
at that point, we don't have to wear a mask. We're outside, we don't have to wear a mask.
Yep.
And, I think it's bullshit wearing a mask outside. So you're outdoors, you're free, you're nowhere in contact with anybody else. I don't see why you'd have to wear a mask, especially at 12 feet, or even at 6 feet. But if you're outdoors, don't wear a mask. And if you want to wear a mask, it's your prerogative. You do what you want to do. When you're at the dojo, I ask the parents to wear a mask. They have to wear a mask. They have to do temperature checks. Everyone that comes through the dojo, and especially the kids. So if you're sick, you stay home. And that's the end of that. I don't want to get into the coronavirus bullshit, but that's a whole different story.
Sure.
But it's hurt a lot of businesses, a lot of schools, a lot of martial arts schools. There was an Aikido school, I think, that closed down right before that. I don't know why, but and then during that, there was another school I found out that closed down. There was a karate school that closed down. There's some schools that are still not running because they're scared of, I don't know, the fucking aliens or something. But I don't know. It has been tough. I feel bad for those people that have closed down. But there's other ways of going about your business, especially if you have some guidelines. I mean, it's pretty tough that somebody has to tell you how to run a business when you've been running for so long. And hopefully this goes away, and we're back to some kind of normal, because this is definitely not normal,
right?
To us and children. It's a totally different, weird era that we're in, and it sucks. It really does. I mean, we lost some students because of that. Not lost them for good. They're still good standing members, but they're afraid to come to train.
Right.
Even outdoors, they're afraid to train outdoors. So.
Right.
I think that people should stop watching social media and all the bullshit posts that people are putting out there, because me and the coronavirus. I don't want to go there.
Don't
because
scare easy. That's for
some
sure.
people are going to be upset.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to ruffle some feathers on this video, but not with the coronavirus. I know it's real. My sister-in-law actually had the coronavirus.
Right.
She lives in a group home, and as you know, she's very ill.
Sure.
She's got seizures, she's got brain tumors, she's got a pacemaker, she's asthmatic, she's got seizures.
Right.
You name it, she has it.
Yep.
And my wife's a nurse, and we said if my sister-in-law, if anybody's going to get it, and it's my sister-in-law, she's going to die from it. From all the bullshit that's on social media and the news and
the way they make it sound.
The way they make it sound.
Sure.
She had it. She was asymptomatic.
Yep.
And 5 days later, she was fine. So it was like a heavy flu. It was like a flu with an upper respiratory issue, and she got through it. It was no big deal for her.
Right.
I don't know anybody that I've heard people that have died of the coronavirus, but I don't think it was solely because of coronavirus.
Right.
I think there was other things added to that. So I'm no doctor. I'm not in the medical field, but you hear it. You hear it every day. You see it every day. So I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. You guys are tired of it. Enough is enough. We want to just go about our business, and it is what it is. But at this point, we can't. We just got to follow the rules, and some people don't like the rules.
Sure.
And we just got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
So to survive, and we're here because of the people, you guys, and the rest of our students that train here. Even though some of the members weren't here training, they were still paying their dues. They would call us for videos and so forth.
Yeah.
That's another thing you asked about Zoom. Bullshit. I don't do Zoom.
I understand.
Zoom is one of those things that you can do yoga from Zoom. You can do other classes in Pilates and Tai Chi, but you need something. you need a dummy.
Right.
You need a person. You can go through the motions like karate. They have katas. Bujitsu. They have weapon system that you can go through different forms and all that stuff. Sure. That gets old. Yeah. And then you want to actually physically be there with someone and train, and that's what we do, hands-on. Yeah. And if you can't do that, the principles of fighting, even jiu-jitsu, judo, the weapon stuff, the tanto, the knife fighting, the jo, the boken in Aikido. The jo would be the short staff in karate. Right. I think this generation has changed, right, evolved. Some of these Aikido places, they're still at this mystical shit stuff that's out there. Yep. And, they have some masters in Aikido that are still around. They're a lot older now, that are really, really good. Yep. And then here comes their students. They know everything. They go around and they start throwing these guys around, and it looks fake. Right. And a lot of the stuff is not practical. Yeah. That what they do, because they've come from generation to generation, and it's just been washed down. Yeah. And I've gone to those seminars. I've been there with those guys. Sure. They had like Chiba Sensei. He had all the chokes. He did jujitsu. He did judo. I'm sorry. So he did all the kubishimes, all the chokes, all the armbars and everything else. So he was more that old style, pre-war. Yep. So before the war started, Aikido was all that. It was all about the armbars, was all about the wrist locks, all about the chokes.
Very severe.
Severe. Entanglement, the groundwork. Even though they did Swadiwaza, they did have groundwork. With some of these Aikido schools, they don't have, a lot of them don't have them. 90%, maybe 95% of them don't do that. Right. So I had to change a little bit, because everything evolves. Bruce Lee, all that, even back in his day, sure. Always changed. Yep. Never stayed the same, always changed. Yep. There's always somebody bigger and better than you, so you have to change. You have to adapt to those situations. And people in Aikido, I'm going to talk about Aikido because that's what I do. That's the love of my art. I love to do it. They are still in that old time, in that old traditional way where nothing's changed. So if that's what they want to do, that's fine. That's great. So some of those teachers, the last fight or confrontation they were in, it was probably in high school. So they have no idea what the hell is out there in the real world. So you gotta adapt to things. Cross training is not bad. It's great. So you can't say karate is good. Can't say Jeet Kune Do is the best style. You can't say judo is the best style. You can't say jiu-jitsu is the best style. You can't say Aikido is the best style. So Aikido has flaws, and every martial art has ins and outs and flaws, and you got to fill those voids. So I'm not ranked in jiu-jitsu or judo. I am ranked in Shotokan karate. When I left, I was about 15 years old, 16. I was a first Q brown belt. I was going for my junior black belt. Right. So I didn't want to get to junior black belt. So I wanted to do judo. That's what I wanted to do. Right. And I wanted to compete because I liked fighting. I liked taking a hit, and I liked hitting back. So I found Aikido because that was the closest spot for me. Yeah. I didn't have a ride to get to Boston from New Bedford. I was young at the time, 16 years old. You don't have a driver's license. Sure. Both of my parents worked 2 jobs, so there was no way I was going to make it. So I thought the best thing for me was, okay, I'll take Aikido. Looked familiar. I saw the Seagal movies, and it was totally different. Yeah. It was totally different. So after my journey in Aikido, I went over to, I went online and looked up what type of Aikido that Seagal had done, because I'm like, oh, that looked really brutal on TV.
Right.
So, and you know, most of the stuff on TV is all bullshit.
Sure.
You know, a lot of choreographing and stuff. So, I looked up, and there was a seminar going on, in, I think his Montana ranch or something, and I wanted to go, but we got refunded our money, and because Seagal had a movie, something to do in a movie, so
Project, yeah.
and we got our refund back, so I didn't make it. But I did go to a seminar in Florida and met this guy, Luis Santos, and that's where I learned my Aikido from, the Tenshin style.
Hi.
It's not really a style. People are like, oh, you know, it's a style and this and that. You know, Tenshin came from Osaka, from Fujitani, his wife.
Right.
And her father was the one that was running the Tenshin dojo out in Japan.
Right.
And she's running it now. So when Seagal came here to the States, people think, oh, he went to LA and that's where he opened his dojo up.
Right.
And he didn't. He went to Taos, New Mexico,
Right.
which you guys know. I've been at Taos
Yep.
with Sensei Craig Dunn, which was his student.
Yeah.
And I went out there and trained there.
He liked you there too.
Yeah, it was really great training, really fun time. So then Seagal went to LA, and that's where, you know, the right time, right place, and he got to Hollywood, into business, into the movie business. So, but yeah, I mean, he has said that it's not a style, it's just Aikido. You hear him in the videos, it's just Aikido, you know, and it is, but there is a difference in the Tenshin style of Aikido.
Yeah.
The applications are a lot different,
Yep.
a lot more direct,
Yep.
a lot more brutal, a lot more choking, a lot more practicality in the application, a lot tighter movements, a lot quicker and faster movements, more pre-war. So when I did go to that seminar, I was like, wow, this is great, this is different.
Yeah.
So, and then I ended up learning that system through Santos. And then I went through Elliot Freeman, which he's under Seagal,
Yep.
out in St. Louis. Went to Matsuroka, which was his top ranking student.
Yeah.
He's in LA, he's got 2 schools in LA.
Yep.
And he was in a couple of movies also. And went to Craig Dunn, obviously, and trained over there. So, you know, I've gotten confirmation where I've gone and trained and that sort of style of Aikido.
Sure.
It's unique because I've done traditional Aikido, the Aikikai style, which they're in the Aikikai, but it's a lot different.
Yeah.
You can tell Iwama Aikido is different than USAF Aikido or traditional Aikido.
Right.
Yoshinkan Aikido is a lot different than Iwama and traditional style of Aikido.
Right. Right.
You know, they're all good. They all have its benefits. It's what you like to do. And I liked this, you know, this better, this Tenshin Aikido better. You know, I never saw Ukanagashi, Sugiyagi movements, all the deflections that they have. I never seen it in the Aikikai world, you know. But, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, Sayatomi, Yamada Sensei, Kanai Sensei passed away, but there's a lot of them. I trained with a lot of those guys, went to a lot of those seminars, you know. So, you know, here, you know, to get things right, you know, I don't teach jiu-jitsu here. I'm not ranked in jiu-jitsu. I don't teach judo because I'm not ranked in judo,
Right.
even though I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, I opened up, and whatever I learned, I made it more practical with times and evolved it, and worked with different stuff in Aikido that you can escape from in any martial art. You know, even Krav Maga is a great art. You know, they have a lot of what we have too. You know,
From Israel. Yeah.
from Israel. So you can't down something or don't knock something till you try it. You know, I believe Guido-san did Gojo-Ryu. You know, it's a hard, soft style. But where's the soft style in Gojo-Ryu?
Yeah.
Karate. And you did Wado-ru, right?
Wado, yeah.
Wado-ru.
It's a sister art to Shotokan.
Yeah,
Right
so
under umbrella.
it's, they're all sister arts, like, great. They're all sister arts, so you can't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
And you know what? When the Gracies came out and they did the UFC, and now there's rules and there's no rules.
Right.
There's no rules out in the street. So we train here realistically. I teach Aikido, as you guys know. We've added groundwork. We've added what if.
Yeah.
It's very hard to say because in every style or every martial art, you usually got to choreograph something to make it work so it's easier for someone to understand. But I put a lot of those techniques, the Aikido techniques that we have, and worked with the higher ranked students and said, okay, we're going to put us in a stressful situation. And okay, what if you get out of a Shihonage? What if you turn over on me? What if you go and take me down with a double leg takedown or a single leg takedown? Or you get on a full mount or a side mount? What do you do?
Yeah.
If you get me in a guillotine from standing, if you get me on an arm bar, or can I put an arm bar? Can I do a Kimura on you? Can I do a triangle choke on you? So, it's a beautiful thing. It's great, doing jiu-jitsu, learning jiu-jitsu. And, in judo, we've done a lot of choking and takedowns. It's familiar to judo and koshinages and stuff. And I've put all those things together. So that way, if someone takes you down, if somebody doesn't want to turn on a pin, if somebody is putting you in that stressful situation where you can't, do a takedown, a simple wrist lock, or whatever you're doing, or an iminage, what do you do? Because I know for a fact, because I've been to a lot of these schools around here, they would probably shit themselves or piss all over the mat or outside.
Yeah.
I'd like to be that guy that put on a mask when they're leaving the dojo and jumping on them like a jackass and see what they would do.
It's gonna be Aikido.
I think that they would automatically say, wait. My sensei says this is love, peace, and harmony. It's gonna work.
It's gotta work.
But we're gonna wait for the angels to come down.
Yep.
And fight these people off, fight this person off.
Divine intervention.
Guess what? It's bullshit. It's not gonna happen. And, maybe, and I've offered people to come down from other schools, from other dojos, like Aikido dojos.
Sure.
Come down and train with us. And, we'll do other things, We'll say, hey, we go into a simple Kihon technique, a Shomanuchi Ikkyo.
Yeah.
If you get out of it, or I go take you down and you roll out of it,
Yep.
and you grab my lapel or you grab my arm and you take me down with you, what are you going to do?
Sure.
Are you going to choke me out? Are you going to hug me? Are you going to, tickle my feet? What are you going to do? Are you going to know what to do? Your third dan, fifth dan, eighth dan, that certificate, it's only there to hang. It's not going to save your ass in a real fight.
Yeah.
If you haven't got punched, a bruise, a bump, surgeries like I've had,
Yeah.
both shoulders, both hips, I had an aroma on my foot, I had alcohol injections from kicking walls, punching walls and the makiwara, hitting the bags.
Yeah.
If you haven't had anybody take you down, you haven't done martial arts.
Yeah.
Like, wake up. If you haven't been hit and you don't know how it is to take a hit and give one, you have no idea what the hell you're doing. You can get your certificate online. Hey, but you know what? When you're in a real situation, that certificate and that belt, you can wipe your ass with it because it's not going to help you. You've got to practice for these situations. You've got to be ready. It's not like, okay, I'm going to give this guy an armbar. I'm going to do a choke. I'm going to do a triangle choke. It's not about that. It's, whatever is going to happen at that particular moment, you have to be ready. And we've done that. We've done those women's self-defense classes and all that stuff. It's great. But people think it's an easy thing, and you just go in there and, we're going to just do drills. Oh yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
We had one guy come over here, one class, did a couple of drills. Where did he end up? He ended up, oh, yeah, I've been sore for 2 weeks. I'm beat up.
Right.
We didn't even do nothing. We did drills.
Right.
So it's crazy. It really is, you know. So I think that that what I've done here, compared to any other schools, nobody has done it. And if they want to follow my lead, come on by, and I'm welcome to help anybody. You know, especially in Aikido, because Aikido gets a bad rap because it looks like shit. Some of these people that are teaching it, I would not be doing Aikido today. I'd be doing something else. I'd be doing maybe jiu-jitsu, karate, something else. I wouldn't be doing that for sure, because it's pretty bad. You know, you call that a technique when you're spinning this guy around. It looks like a jackass. If it was me, you ain't taking me down like that. You're not spinning me around. There's no way I'm gonna let you do that technique on me, because you're not gonna do it. You know, so you got to train as if it's your last day today. You know, you got to train as if it was real. And we have gloves back there. We have headgears. Oh wait, we don't do that in Aikido, do we? We do it here. We do it here. A school that's not around here that I like to mention was the instructor, Bruce Bookman.
Yeah.
He did something big with Aikido too. He's still in the Aikikai.
Yep.
And he did boxing.
Yeah.
And he's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he's got rank in Aikido, and the love for his Aikido is what he's teaching. He's teaching Aikido.
Yeah.
But guess what? He's brought that into Aikido. He's brought all his cross training, his jiu-jitsu and his boxing into Aikido.
Yeah.
His movements, you know, what do you do against a boxer? What do you do against this? What if you get taken down? Now he's working with his jiu-jitsu, you know, which is great, you know. Another one is that I've talked to. I've trained with Bruce Bookman at seminars out in New Jersey. Another one is Roy Dean.
Yeah.
Roy Dean is black belt in Aikido.
Yeah.
And I think he's maybe 3rd or 4th dan now.
Yeah.
Well-rounded guy.
Yeah.
And I've followed him around. I've talked to him via email. Sure. And was supposed to invite him down a couple of months ago before this coronavirus, mm-hmm. and we were unable to. Obviously, all that was put to a halt. So, right. You know, eventually we'll get him down here working with us and doing some ground stuff and jiu-jitsu stuff. But yeah, Roy Dean's another one. But it's good. It's good to cross train, you know. And you know, I'm not an Aikikai. We're not an Aikikai anymore. Nope. I did Aikikai for over 10 years. Sure. Went on my own. So I wouldn't get, you know, somebody saying, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. You can't go to this seminar because you belong to this federation. So we can go anywhere we want, do anything we want, yep. And, you know, train however we want, yep. Without saying, oh, no, you can't do an arm bar, or you can't choke this guy out because this is not part of Aikido. It is part of Aikido. It is part of martial arts. Yeah. So I had to separate myself from the Aikikai and go independent. And my 6th dan came from an independent, International Independent Martial Arts Association. That's where that came from. Right. And as you know, we've had people from Russia come down and get ranked. Yes. So we have an international school in Portugal. Sure. He's a 4th dan. I went there during my honeymoon. Yeah. And teaching class all week, you know, and promoted him to a 4th dan. Yeah. I don't know how he knew I was going there, but he found out somehow. So we've had another guy come from Utah train with us. So we've had a lot of guys come down here and check us out and train with us. Sure. To see what is going on here. What is this stuff that he's teaching? Yep. You know, this tension stuff and this ground stuff and this jiu-jitsu, Aikido jiu-jitsu. It was all part of Aikido before the war, and then after the war, Ho-sensei took that all out and, you know, became a little bit more, you know, fluffy, more, you know. His Buddhism. A lot of Buddhism and stuff, and the love, peace, and harmony shit came in afterwards. And there's no love, peace, and harmony outside anymore when somebody's mugging you. It's a tough situation out there. It's very tough.
Brutalized world.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, Sensei, thank you. wanted to follow up on that, in terms of the people who've come and traveled here. It's
Yeah.
absolutely true. You've always been very, very generous to many folks, from different backgrounds. Myself, I came from a kind of a staggered Aikido background, and I met you, and I remember within the first couple of classes, I had a key to the dojo. I had an open invitation to come, from where I was living on another part of the state, and I eventually did move here, and it's been. But I've seen so many folks coming from Washington State, from Utah, from Chicago, all kinds of folks, and they're always treated so well here. Very, very generous.
Yeah, Washington, Brandon Needham.
Absolutely.
He's one of our students.
Absolutely.
There, yeah.
Yep.
Rank from us. He came here. We went over there and trained.
Yep.
Great hospitality there
Lovely
at the
people.
Tri-City.
Yeah.
Aikido. So it's you guys have traveled with me to certain states to do seminars. You have a background in karate and Aikido and ninjutsu and iaido and kenjutsu and karate and all that other bullshit stuff, So
Sure.
And then Mike Aikido, right? Just here. Okay. All right.
So anyway, well, that's awesome. Well, Senpai Guido,
Yes, Josh.
he's down at the far end. We have a question for you too.
Oh, wow.
I've been pondering this one for a while.
What do you want to know, Josh?
Senpai Guido, I consider you to be sort of the supreme Aikido historian. Whenever I'm coming in and Senpai Guido is always got all the books. He's looking for another article. I don't know half of the books that Senpai Guido reads. And then he brings up these very... Can you describe a little bit, just a little bit, your experience and how you feel Aikido, where it was and where things sort of changed and where it is now? And feel free to mention all of the many landmarks and teachers that you admire and you've seen in your studies. I would love to hear it sort of in a brief synopsis. I see you every weekend. Looking at a lot of book. I mean, a lot of books and a lot of videos, and just whenever I come and meet you, you always have something. Well, I saw this, and I saw Yoko Okamoto, and she was this, and she was that, and I could see where she came from. And then I remember Master Kanai, during the day, and this is where he was coming from. And you always had to have it in perspective. And it comes out on the mat. Whenever you're on the mat and we're doing techniques, geez, there goes Senpai Guido. He's got me, he's really got me. I've kind of got him, but he's really got me. How do you do that?
I don't know. But Sensei alluded to the fact that we studied with Jack Leonardo.
Right.
I was in 1976 and Sensei John was much later. But I took a hiatus away from Aikido, did some other things. I did some Tai Chi in college. And then I got into amateur competitive running and some mountain biking.
Wow.
And then came full circle when I called Sensei in Arujo, and I saw a bumper sticker with Aikido in Bristol County, and looked it up on the online, and got a phone number and called, and he asked me in his very blunt way, "What's your story? What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I studied with Jack Leonardo." That's the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's my point of reference.
Right.
At 20 years old, I had a friend who was half Japanese.
He mentioned me in the right way.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
Nice.
I said, what do you want from us? You want to train or you don't want to train?
So he said, well, I studied with Jack Leonardo, so I was sold right away. Having said that, when I got on the mat, it was actually on the Wombsilla Street,
Right.
the first dojo,
Right.
I was like, oh, this is a little different. This is tighter. And what's the stuff with your hands? And
Yeah.
it was different. And learned that it was Tenshin, and it came from Steven Seagal, Taka Sensei.
Right.
It's okay, I just rolled with it. At the time, there was a lot of discussion about how Aikido had kind of lost its mojo. It had become unrealistic. It had become too soft. I didn't know anything about it because the Aikido that I studied with Jack, which was kind of a combination of early Koichi Tohei, Saito, the Iwama style, and also going up to Boston and teaching with Mitsunari Kanai. That's Aikido. In my mind, it was a martial art, and it was considered effective self-defense. 30 years later, whatever, I guess I missed that whole part. It was like Rip Van Winkle waking up when these guys are talking. And the stuff we were doing with the tension stuff seemed pretty, almost like in the same way the early Aikido I studied.
Right.
So I didn't see any difference. But then when we started going to seminars
Yeah.
and looking at some of the videos, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, there's a gap there.
So, and I also had one of my things I'd studied some karate with my brother-in-law, sensei, some Okinawan style. So my experience with the martial arts is that it is hard.
Yeah.
And you get on the mat or you get on the floor or So I agree with Sensei Arujo on that. It's yoga is one thing, the martial arts is something else, and it's not for everybody.
Right.
There was a guy that was with Sensei Almeida's, a guy about my age, training when we were at Howland Place, and he's getting out of his car to go into the Shotokan dojo, and I'm getting out of my car to go upstairs to the Aikido.
Yep.
And I looked at him and I said, "What are we doing?" He laughed. I says, "We're getting too old for these things." He laughed. And I'm sure he doesn't train like he did when he was a young man,
Sure.
when he got his down rank with John
Sure.
Almeida, Sensei Almeida. And he says, yeah. And I says, well, you can just go on YouTube. He says, yeah, a lot of people want to do that. He says, because they don't want to get the temporary tattoos,
Yeah.
the bruises
Yeah.
and the bumps. And if you study a martial art, you're going to get the occasional tweak,
Yep.
wrist, elbow, knee, whatever. It comes with the territory. You heal up and you get back to it.
Yep.
Like I said, it's not for everybody. There's got to be there's something inside here.
Yeah.
Having said that, it's not about fighting for me. It's about my inner character, building my character. And also, I heard somebody say it was in relation to something else though. In order to keep it, you need to give it away. In order to retain your skills, and if you're trying to train the newcomer, the kohai that come in, by trying to give it to them, you keep it for yourself, because then you remember stuff. Oh gee, I remember that. Oh yeah, that reminds me of.
Right.
So it's this community that you create. So the other thing was the jiu-jitsu stuff that Sensei John's been teaching. Not that I hadn't caught that much of it, but and it seems to me it's a very natural thing to me. I come
Yes.
the chokes and the I still get confused about the technical part of it, but the physicality of it,
Yeah.
I'm not inhibited by at all.
I had a 3-month head
Wrestling.
start on you on some of those lessons,
Wrestling,
and you came in a week
it's
and passed me like in a week.
It's like
unbelievable.
so because I see it as a part of the whole. I don't see it as the other. It's not what we do with the strict Aikido curricula that we kind of stick to as we bring people in. But like you said, this group that we have that's involved in it, I don't see, it's it's different, but it's a part of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see it as like, and it's kind of like, okay, this is Sensei's thing that he wants to teach us.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I didn't teach it at first. I just didn't want to. But I said, when these guys stop advancing more in the Aikido,
Right.
then I'll add this
Sure.
jiu-jitsu stuff in,
Yeah.
these leg locks, these takedowns, these full guards, these half mounts, these chokes,
Yeah.
these arm bars,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Escapes from different techniques and
Sure.
blend it in and get
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, Roy Dean and,
Yeah.
and Bruce Bookman,
Yeah.
which I remember Bruce Bookman
way back.
was with Yamada in New York
Yep.
when I was probably with Jack and Kanai.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But he's probably my age or close to it.
Yes.
So us old farts, it's like learning new tricks or whatever.
He actually rolled with Roy Dean last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
In the Aikido school in
Yep.
Irvine.
Yeah.
Yeah. With,
So
Josh Gold,
I just think it's not either or.
Sure.
It can be all inclusive and not to put up barriers and say, oh, that's not Aikido, or
Welcome everyone.
And I can remember when we trained with Jack, and Kanai did it, and I know Saito did it, where Atemi was a lot of Aikido
Yeah.
a lot of stuff initially was an atemi, and then you went into the technique.
Yeah.
And then I was saying, well, if you have to do the atemi, you're not doing Aikido, you should be able to just do it from. And it's like, what's wrong with,
Kicking and punching.
yeah, if the guy's got you good, give him a tap or distract him so that you can do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So, the purists, there's always this element of purist stuff.
Yeah.
And again, like Sensei said, you don't want to confuse a newcomer. Aikido is a system, and it has its techniques and its methodology. And if you start throwing too much stuff into it, because I know there's a lot of stuff that Sensei doesn't teach, having to do with ki, and it comes from Koichitoire and stuff, because the newcomer's going to get confused. So it's like, as you get further along, then you're ready to learn some of this stuff, or be more accepting of it after you have some more experience. In the beginning, you just be going, what?
Right.
And I know sometimes with Mike, I do things and say this, do this, and can you feel the difference? And you can't.
Yeah.
The beginner's not, like Manny's not going to get that.
Right.
Not as much.
Sure.
But if you've done it for a while, then you feel the difference with tense, relaxing, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So, and that applies to the ground fighting stuff, the jiu-jitsu stuff, is how you get, if you tense up, you're not going to really get there. You watch Bookman and Roy Dean.
Yeah, weave them around
And
each other.
they know when to be supple and when to get strong.
Yeah.
That suppleness is part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's not all
Right.
Take all the
balls to the
martial
wall,
arts.
muscle.
Yep.
And there's a subtlety and suppleness to
Yes.
the maneuvers.
And take all the
And
martial arts
smoothness.
and learn it, take it. If something doesn't work, try to make it work. And not throw it away. Just, take all those, everything that you've learned, whether it's jiu-jitsu and all that, they're all good, man. They're all good. Those jiu-jitsu people are great. We have a school right down the road here, Excel Martial Arts, Excel Jiu-Jitsu.
Sure.
Marcio, he's great. Marcio Silva. I know the guy.
Yeah.
I know his son, and I know the dad's won a bunch of championships in jiu-jitsu. So if that's what people want to do, go to his school, because I don't teach jiu-jitsu. I teach Aikido here with some of the jiu-jitsu background that I have from training just basic stuff. Kihon wazas and Japanese jiu-jitsu is different from that. And judo. I just like to add all that stuff into our Aikido to make it more practical.
Absolutely.
So, with that said, I've been invited to a lot of places, and I know that some of these Aikido schools, I'm going to go down to your school,
Yeah.
and guess what?
Yeah.
It's all talk.
Yeah.
So, when those schools or when those students or teachers want to come down and from Aikido, and want to get out from underneath their rock or from their comfort zone, then they can come play with us. I mean, we welcome everybody, and I've welcomed them before, but they're either afraid to come here and train with us because they feel intimidated, I don't know, or they're just in their comfort zone and they rather stay like that, which is fine. So if that's what they want to do, then you know what? Stay home, go to Walmart, don't mess with anybody, and they'll get into no fights and
Off peak hours.
right. Because one thing is, how do you know it works without testing it?
So, we've been talking about students, and it is a fact that, believe it or not, in the American population, only 3.5% of people, Americans, will study martial arts or go into classes regularly. We don't understand that because we're in martial arts classes every week, and we've always been in martial arts classes. But it is true that most folks, most of the combat arts and when they get into fights, all the stuff they've seen on TV or in commercials or in sporting events and such. But then we have the great Senpai Mike, who's been with us. He's been with us almost 2 years now. An amazing student, comes to every class, picking stuff up like so quickly and so easy to work with and so great to work with. And you were one of those people, from what I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you had never taken a martial arts class before. You know, you've been physical, you know, you've been in gyms and you bicycle and you do these things. But, you know, tell us about, you know, brand new, 2 years of training, moving up the Q ranks very quickly. Tell us about, you know, your background and what attracted you to Aikido and to Aikido Bristol County.
Okay, well, first I say thank you for having me here, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've always been very active. A lot of mountain biking, always going to the gym, always very active in my life. I've always was interested in martial arts and was always something that I really wanted to get into. I never made the time or the effort to put into it. So at a point in my life, it was a couple years ago now, I had a lot of personal things going on, you know, maybe not for the best, and I really wanted to make a change in my life. So I started looking to martial arts schools. So, you know, I looked into the judo, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, aikido. I looked into all the different various schools.
Yeah.
I called around to all the schools and asked them, you know, what could I do if I wanted to sign up. All the schools, except for this one here, all the schools I called were like, oh, you could come down, you can, you know, take one class for free, and then you can sign up for 2 years if you want to.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I'm one class. How am I going to know if I really like it after one class?
Right.
I called here and I talked to Sensei John and talked on the phone. He, you know, explained to me what was going on. Told me I could come down and just sit over here on the side and watch for a week or so, or for as long as I wanted to, just to watch. And then, you know, told me I could take some classes for free for the month or whatever.
Yep.
To really understand if I really wanted to do it, and if it worked out, it worked out. If it didn't, that was fine as well.
Yeah.
Then I think I came in one day, I watched some classes. Senpai
Yep.
Guido was here,
Yeah.
Senpai Josh was here, and Sensei was here. You know, watched some of the classes.
Yeah.
And then I started trying the classes, and I really felt like there was a lot more going on here. It was really more of a family, so I really could come here and I could really learn and understand. And I've seen that through the 2 years that I've been here. You know, working with all of you guys, it's been really good. You guys are always here and always help me out. So now I'm hooked. And Senpai Guido always asks me, "Well, why do you keep coming back?"
Because Mike wants to rock and roll.
That's right. Well, it's funny you say that because sometimes the class, you know, we have advanced people and we're doing advanced things, but you know, you've blended into those advanced things very quickly, and sometimes we'll gear the class down to you, but most of the time you're helping us gear the class up to us. So we're very grateful to have you. You're really remarkable, talented young man, and you really need to celebrate that and be proud of that, because we're very lucky to have you here in the dojo. And we all very much appreciate, you know, the freshness that you bring to it, and amazing memory, man. I'm like doing sequences. I got to memorize 12 sequences, and you're the one I always, wait, what was the fourth one? Yes, he's right, it's the fourth one. So, well, thank you so much for joining us for the video. This was really been a wonderful, wonderful chat. I want to thank Sensei John Rujo. Thank you so much for having this idea. I want to thank Senpai Guido, our arts historian here at the dojo, and our senior honor member, and our newest member, Senpai Mike, for coming in and being a part of our Aikido family. We are Aikido Bristol County at East Freetown, Massachusetts. We are at 1 Chase Road, Unit number 9, and we are open, and please come down and visit us. Like everyone's been talking about, there's no contracts, there's no pressure, there's just martial arts training, good martial arts training, and we hope to see you all soon.
Look us up, aikidobristolcounty.com. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like us on Facebook.
Aikido Bristol County.com. Headquarters.
Yes, headquarters. Aikido Bristol County headquarters. Rock and roll. And I want to thank Guido, Josh, and Mike for being here today, for making things happen here, for making things happen during coronavirus. Josh here is the instructor for the children's class. So if you have children, you want to bring them down to watch a class or try a class, you will see Josh a lot. If Josh can't make it, obviously myself, I'll be here, or one of the other senpais that are qualified to teach. All testing happens here at this dojo. All qualifications, all certificates are here. If you have any questions, you can give us a call, 508-542-9437, 508-542-9437. Again, aikidobristolcounty.com. Give us a like. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Sayonara.